Guys, so we are just making lunch. It is a Sunday, and I figured I would just go ahead and share with you guys this really kind of like easy recipe. It's inspired by shepherd's pie. It's not quite as rich as like an actual pie. We're not using potatoes, but if you want that kind of same like flavor, but you don't want to have all the carbs from the potatoes, then this is a great way to still kind of like feel like you're treating yourself, but you're not having all of the added carbs of the potatoes. So I don't want anyone to be like, that's not shepherd's pie. It's inspired. We're using some ground turkey. We always use ground turkey. We don't eat any ground beef. So ground turkey is always what we use. And then I've got some C&W petite peas. So I'm not really sure how much this is. How much meat would you say this is, babe?
We usually get the 3-pound tray.
So this is like 1 pound altogether? Just under a pound?
Just under a pound.
Okay, I'm probably gonna put half of the peas in here. This is the key right here. The Lee and Perrins Worcestershire sauce. This word is so difficult. And then you're obviously gonna need some pepper, some olive oil, salt, and then I've just got some yellow onion here. This is just half of an onion. And then in the oven, I've got 3 medium-sized carrots, and I've just kind of angled them at like a slant. I'm just baking them with some olive oil and a little bit of salt for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Normally I would also throw in some sweet corn, but I just made the kids pinwheels yesterday, and so I used all my sweet corn. While the carrots are cooking in the oven, I'm just going to put the onion, the meat, well first I'll do the onion, then once that's a little bit more translucent, I'm going to put in the meat, and then the peas, and then this special stuff, because this is what makes it so delicious. Okay, so I'm just cooking my onions. I've got a little bit of olive oil in here, and I'm basically just going to cook these until they get a little bit more translucent and soft, and then I will add in my meat. Okay, so my onions are all nice and translucent, and I've just added in my turkey ground. So basically, if you were to add ground beef, it just kind of adds a little bit more of that kind. Oops, I just flicked that all over the place. It adds a little bit more of like that kind of rich, kind of like grease that is like, I don't know, it's quite delightful. But ground turkey is just a lot less greasy and kind of fatty. I like to use ground turkey instead. As long as you season it enough, like it doesn't, I don't feel like it takes away from the flavor at all. It just takes away from that kind of like extra kind of like greasy juiceness, which sounds really gross, but you guys know what I mean. Okay, now that my meat is cooked, I've added my peas. I'm gonna let these sit for a couple of minutes just so that they kind of start to thaw out because they were frozen. And then once I feel like they've kind of puffed up a little bit and gotten a little bit less like shriveled, then I'm gonna add this. And I just kind of, I go by taste, so I just kind of pour it all around until I think it has a good flavor. So I don't actually know how much I use. Put it in, taste it. If it doesn't have very strong taste, put a little bit more in. And that's when I'm gonna salt and pepper as well. Okay, so I've just added in some of this. So now you can see how it's getting a little bit more of that brown flavor. Don't mind the kids, they're playing the piano. I'm also gonna add just a little bit of this Chardonnay in. I just feel like it gives it a really nice flavor. Again, I don't really know how much I use. Oh, actually, yes I do. I use this little thing. Oh, I almost burned myself. This is 2 ounces, so I just pour it into here and then pour that in, and that way, I don't know, it just kind of gives it a really good flavor. So I'm just gonna let this sit for a little bit with that Worcestershire sauce, and then I'll add a little bit of the wine in once I feel like this has had a good amount of time to sit. So probably like another minute or so. Okay, I forgot to tell you, I also put garlic in here, and I just added some cherry tomatoes as well. These actually needed to be used up, so I figured I would just throw them in here. And it kind of just gives it a nice little, whoa, you can't even see. Nice little bit of flavor as well. So I'm just gonna let this sit for a couple more minutes, just let those tomatoes get a little softer. We're gonna put that stuff in a bowl and then put the carrots on top with a little bit of cheese, and then it's like a really yummy shepherd's pie without the potato. So it's obviously still got carbs, it's just a lower carb. And it's really delicious. Okay guys, and that is your finished result. So basically the carrots kind of act as like it were potato on top. And then I just sprinkled a tiny little bit of cheddar cheese, and then all of your meat, tomato, and peas and onion is at the bottom. So it's like a nice little kind of casserole, but you don't have all those added carbs of the potato. So it's really good. You guys should try it. It's really, if you're trying to just like go lower on the carbs, then definitely try this out and let me know how you guys like it.